Hey guys, welcome back. This week we're just going to do a quick lecture on more mixing over chapters 4 that we've already gone over. I just wanted to kind of reiterate a few things and just kind of help out with a couple of tips and tricks whenever y'all start doing some mixing. Cool. The 3 steps to mixing. So first off, we want to visualize. Then we want to actually apply what we've visualized. We want to evaluate what we've done, and we want to repeat. So to do that, we visualize first. So before we ever start touching any of the faders or knobs or start messing with things, we want to actually just listen to it. Just take time. Listen to it. It seems crazy, but before you ever, start touching your mouse or even get your hands on the board, whenever you're in that mixing phase, just give it a good listen at first. Maybe take notes. Bring a pencil. Sometimes I'll just put it in my notes on my phone. This particular part, I need this particular part to come up. At this particular section, this particular instrument, I want to add reverb to it, or I want to put it in a space, or what kind of space. You want to visualize this first. And then once you visualized it, you've got a list of some things that you feel that you want to now start applying. That's the application process. So now that we've come up with this idea of what we want to do, then we can start making fader adjustments, panning, signal processing, EQing, different effects. And that happens at the application process. Once you've done that, usually just do one thing at a time. If you want to add reverb, add reverb to that track. Whether it be, do you want to do it in series or in parallel? What kind of reverb? You want to kind of evaluate that in the visualization process, and then whenever you come down to it, you want to apply it. Start using your buses to send over to your effect chain, or insert a compressor, whatever it may be. You apply it and then evaluate. So just one thing at a time, and then evaluate. Did that help the track? Did that make the track worse? Am I indifferent to it? Just evaluate it. Did it help? Did it not? And then repeat. So if it was a good change, keep it. Then move on. Go back to that visualization process. Figure out what it is you want to apply it, evaluate, repeat. Just keep doing that until you've gotten to where you're listening to the song. You can sit down with a piece of paper, and there's nothing that comes to your head of changes that need to be made. It's now the good mix. So what does make a good mix? Let's go over that a little bit. So a good mix is going to allow a listener to focus on what you want the listener to focus in on. Whether it be the vocals for like a pop track, or the nice full-bodied kick drum for some rap tracks. You want to make sure that it sounds good on all speakers, not just high-end systems. So that's why some engineers will have some crappy little headphones, or they'll have a little speaker system that doesn't even have a tweeter in it. Maybe an old radio, just something to make sure your mix still sounds good on that stuff too. That it's not distorting or overloading those types of systems. You want to highlight the stronger elements while masking the weak. So if there's a particular part that sounds really good, you get a mix, and maybe there's a particular rhythm track that just it's helping, but it's not really like making the track, and it's not like something that stand out. You don't want it to be all over the place. Maybe just lower it down a little bit. It might make the bass track you stand out a little more during that time. So just kind of move things around a little bit, highlight the things that you want to. A good balance of all the instruments, vocals, and sounds. Does everything kind of balance well together, or does it just sound like the vocals are just like way loud, while it sounds like all the other instruments are way quiet? There's a balance between the vocals being on top and the vocals just being too loud. So find that appropriate balance. And is it appropriate for the song or the genre? There was a time where country tracks, didn't like a lot of, kick drum and things of that nature, but they've come around. They've now got a lot of pop country stuff that's got all the elements. So it's kind of new and different world we're living in now, because there's all these cross genres. But still, whenever you're listening to a track, if someone's bringing in a folk song, the first thing you want to do isn't go grab your 808 samples. So you just make sure the mix is appropriate. Does it have dynamics? Dynamics, that's the difference between, your loud parts and your soft parts. Is it all just full bore, everything's super loud, or are there parts that are a little quieter than others, allowing space and that differential between, is everything just full bore, or is it got that little bit of, some move to it and give to it. Dynamics are good. There was a period where everyone just thought everything had to be super loud. They call it the loudness wars of the 90s, where everyone was just compressing the heck out of their track and making everything just as loud as possible, so that when you're dialing in on your radio, you're more likely to find it. But that's not the world we live in anymore. So people found that they actually like their mixes to have some dynamic to it. So keep some dynamic there. It's not always a bad thing. And does it make the listener react? A good mix, you want to be most likely the person tapping their foot. Does it make them want to dance, or just bobbing their head up and down? A good mix should cause either some sort of mental or physical reaction, or at least a good mix should. Cool. How to improve your mix. So you want to analyze mixes of different genres and listen closely to how those songs are mixed. So just take, we aren't reinventing the wheel here, so just kind of listen to a lot of different stuff, and just kind of try to recreate that. That's as a good starting point. And that takes practice, lots and lots of practice, so it's not just gonna come to you a couple sessions in. It's just gonna take lots of practice. Just the more you do it, the easier things will get. The easier they get, the more likely you're willing to try things a little more out of the box. You want to compare other people's mixes to your own. So after you do try to recreate a certain mix or a certain sound, go back and listen to it again, see how close you got. If you're not too far off, maybe there might be a couple changes you can make to get there. Learn how to recognize different frequency ranges and how they make you feel. So when it comes to EQing and tonal options, you want to know that if you add some more low end to your bass guitar, that's going to maybe be a little more drivey, more pumpy kind of sounding, or if you add more, brightness to a vocal, it's going to allow it to be more present, more, more in your face kind of sounding. And of course, more practice. Can't say enough about that. Just got to keep practicing. Don't be pressured. So like especially like live mixing and things, you might have somebody come up and you're in the middle of, the first song, and you haven't even had a chance to like make your way over to the, whatever fader, and somebody's already asking for more kick drum while you're still focusing on the vocal or something. Don't be pressured to automatically move to the kick drum just because someone mentions it. Focus in on the fader, on your whatever it is you're doing, then give it a listen, analyze, and apply if necessary. Just don't be pressured. Have patience, put your heart into it. It just makes such a difference if you're really doing something you truly enjoy, and mixing is one of those things. If you're really enjoying what you're doing, the mix will relate, so it's pretty awesome. And of course, mixing is both technical and artistic, or creative, so you have to have the technical side down before you can get creative. So I definitely want to stress the technical side, but once you've got the technical side, you can go and be as creative as you want to be. Cool. Well, that was it for our small mixing lecture. I do hope I see y'all soon, and I hope y'all stay safe.